guys, please subscribe, push the notification bell, and I want to go over again Marlene Ocha Lopez. The people that adopted her, are they evil? Well, that's what we're going to discuss. We're going to go over the story. We're going to find out more information on Clarissa, the woman that headed this abduction, and the fetal abduction is what I'm calling it. I don't know why media is not calling it that, because that's what it is. And you know why she did this to Marlene. And what we're finding out is Clarissa, the 46-year-old, who actually premeditated this murder with her daughter and her boyfriend, and you'll see him in a second here. This is Desiree. She had lost a son of natural causes, and I'm thinking we have another case where we're dealing with a mental crisis that was neglected. What I'm questioning is, even though she was having a mental crisis, what about the people that live in the house with her? Why is it they found it easier to help kill somebody and steal a baby versus getting her help? And you know, that's something we need to look into. Also, I want to let you know that these guys went to court and they will not get bail. Judge said no. The family there was a ton of family in court, and they were, you know, they had sounds of sighs and just totally relieved to hear that this group of evil people would not be getting out of jail anytime soon. But I do have some court documents. I wanted to share that with you guys. I know some of you do not have cable and things like this. And all right, let's see what they found out. I know you've been wanting to know. But at the end of the video, I'm going to share some things that people are saying about this family and this case. So make sure you watch it till the end. All right, let's go over it. So the bond court, here we go. Defendant 1, Clarissa. I can't say that last name. I'm sorry, guys. Defendant 2, Desiree, her daughter. And then defendant 3, Peacher, 40-year-old male. Charges: first-degree murder, aggravated battery of a child. Defendant 2, first-degree murder, aggravated battery of a child. Defendant 3, concealment of a homicidal death, and class 3, concealment of a death, so class 4. Now this is the date and time and everything. We're not going to go over all that. I'll let you guys read through this later at your speed. So right here, they're telling you the victim number 1 is the 19-year-old pregnant mother who is now deceased. They found her dead in a garbage can in the back of their house, is what we're hearing now. And then you have the baby boy, which is a newborn victim. Right now, he's on life support, so you know, I don't want to say in case one of the family members are watching, but it's not good. So this is what we're finding out. So the defendant, Clarissa, previously had a son named Alexander, who in 2018 died of natural causes. He was 20 years old at the time, and in October of 2018, the defendant Clarissa announced to her daughters that she was pregnant. Okay, remember now, that's a little bit of time here that she said that she was pregnant. So that's at least 6 or 7 months that she should have been pregnant. And anyway, she announced to her daughters that she was pregnant. Defendant Desiree, the daughter, is one of the defendants, Clarissa's daughter. This was a surprise since defendant Clarissa previously had her fallopian tubes tied, and in December of 2018, defendant Clarissa posted an ultrasound photo on Facebook of a baby she claimed to be carrying, and on February 5th of 2019, Clarissa posted on the Help a Mother Out Facebook page that she had named her baby Xander. I hope I'm saying this right, guys. And posted a photo of a crib and the decorated baby room. Okay, so I'm going to post that for you here. You can see here where she so this is definitely, she planned it. So she did this for the baby. That Facebook page is a group that works to improve the family's well-being by increasing access to baby items for families in need. So later on March 5th, 2019, defendant Clarissa then posted a Facebook post on the Help a Mother Out page that read, "Who is due in May? Where is the May mamas at?" That same day, defendant Clarissa had a conversation with the Marlene Ochoa, who was 7 months pregnant at the time, and on the same Facebook page. Defendant Clarissa then offered the V brand new clothes for her baby and suggested that the V contact her through the defendant Clarissa's inbox. Prior to April 1st, 2019, defendant Clarissa told defendant Desiree that she needed help killing a pregnant woman and taking a baby. On approximately April 1st, 2019, the V was at the home, so that's the victim, guys. I couldn't figure that out for a minute. At the home of the defendants, Clarissa and Desiree, located at 4100 West 77th Place. Desiree's boyfriend was also present. Defendant Clarissa told defendant Desiree that they needed to kill the victim, and defendant Desiree said no initially, and then told her boyfriend about what her mother had said. And on April 1st, 2019, the victim, defendants Clarissa and Desiree and Desiree's boyfriend were all in the basement together at the defendant's home. Defendants Clarissa and Desiree kept acting strange and on numerous occasions went into a separate room together. It appeared to Desiree's boyfriend that she was shaking at times. Desiree's boyfriend told her that he would call the police if they were going to kill the victim. The victim eventually left, and the defendant Clarissa told Desiree's boyfriend that it was just an April Fool's joke. On April 23rd of 2019, the victim drove her black Honda Civic to the defendant's home. While there, the victim sat on the couch in the living room. Defendants Clarissa and Desiree turned up the volume on the music and went into the kitchen together. While in the kitchen, they discussed their plan to strangle the victim and then cut the victim's baby out of her. Both defendants returned to the living room, and at that point, defendant Desiree distracted the victim with a photo album of the defendant Clarissa's son, Xander. And guys, before I continue, I want to say that it's very obvious that this woman is obviously got herself in a illusion. She's delusional. She thinks that baby is her son, and she was going to get that baby at any cost, at cost of her own daughter. And whatever she done to her daughter, it seems like she scared the mess out of that daughter. This is another system that's let families down. Let's continue. As the victim looked at the photo album, defendant Clarissa wrapped a cable around her hands, then wrapped it around the victim's neck from behind her. This is, guys, this is pretty graphic. I'm having trouble with it. If you don't think you can handle it, go ahead and turn the video off here. The victim attempted to stop the defendant Clarissa and was able to place the fingers between the neck and the cable. At that point, the defendant Clarissa told defendant Desiree, "You're not doing your fucking job." Excuse my language. Defendant Desiree then stepped up and began to peel the victim's finger from the cable one by one. Once the victim's fingers were no longer blocking the cable, the victim Clarissa tightened the cable around the victim's neck. Defendant Clarissa got up on top of the victim and continued to strangle her for approximately 4 to 5 minutes. And I want to tell you guys about why the baby didn't survive at the end of this video. So again, she researched that it would take 4 to 5 minutes to strangle someone with a cord, and that a person will urinate on themselves when they die. Once the victim was dead, defendant Clarissa told the defendant Desiree to get a blanket and a large plastic bag and a butcher knife. Defendant Desiree retrieved those items and then left the defendant Clarissa with the victim. Defendant Clarissa took the knife and sliced open the victim's abdomen from side to side. Defendant Clarissa then removed the umbilical cord, the placenta, and the baby from inside the victim. The defendant Clarissa placed the placenta and the baby inside a bucket with the cord sticking out. Defendant Desiree returned, and the defendant Clarissa wrapped the victim in a blanket. Sorry about that, guys. My puppy's in the background. And then she shoved the victim into a large plastic bag and tied it tight. So the victim, Clarissa, then lugged the bag with the victim's body inside into the garbage can, where she kept it hidden on the side of their garage. At that point, defendant Clarissa called 911 and stated that she delivered her baby on her own and the baby was not breathing. Man, this is horrible. Okay, so the CMD responded and the defendant Clarissa met them holding the victim's baby, who still had the placenta and the cord attached. Okay, I want to go over this, guys. So I want you to pay attention to this part of how long would it take to cut her open, put her in a bag, tie her up, carry her out to a garbage can. That is important here when you want to know why the baby is not doing well. This is the key factor. Anyways, let me continue. And Clarissa and the victim's baby was taken to Christ Hospital in Chicago. The victim's baby was ultimately taken to natal care. And currently, the baby, is on life support. The baby has 0 brain activity, and I'm not sure how long the family's going to try. All right, we will continue this story. Defendant Desiree took the victim's phone and the victim's car to her sister's home to retrieve 2 additional phones. Defendant Desiree is captured on red light camera driving the victim's car. Additionally, the victim's phone pinged to the area of the sister's home at the time. The victim's phone was eventually thrown out by the defendant Desiree. Defendant Desiree then returned with the victim's car and parked it within a half a block from the defendant's home. While at the labor and delivery section at the Christ Hospital, defendant Clarissa was examined but showed no signs inconsistent with a woman who had delivered a baby. Defendant Clarissa did have blood on her arms, hands, and across her face, which was from the murder of the victim and the removal of the victim's baby. The blood was cleaned off by an OB technician who treated the defendant Clarissa at the hospital. Which I have to say, I'm not sure if I believe the cops were catching on here or not. I think that was just protocol. I was wondering why they had mentioned she was examined. But we don't know, because the police definitely act as if, they had no clue what was going on. If they knew what was going on, I would have thought that they would at least had a search warrant, way quicker than they did. So I doubt they did. They took too long. On April 24th, 2019, the victim was reported missing by her husband, and the police began their investigation. And I'm pretty certain that's not true. On that same day, defendant Clarissa and defendant, the boyfriend Peter, cleaned the defendant's residence of blood from the murder in an attempt to hide the victim's murder from the police. Defendant Peter is defendant Clarissa's boyfriend. Police searched the victim's Facebook account and discovered that the victim and the defendant Clarissa had met and spoke to each other on the Help a Mother Out Facebook. I wish they would put a date there. Detectives went to the defendant's home in search of the defendant Clarissa. They were informed that the defendant Clarissa was at the hospital because she had given birth. The victim's car was then located a half block of the defendant's residence, which had several weeks of tickets of what we heard. Whether that's true, we don't know. Ultimately, the DNA samples were obtained. That would take some time, from the defendant Clarissa and her boyfriend, the defendant Peter, as well as the victim's husband's DNA results showed that it was the victim's husband was the father of the baby that defendant Clarissa had claimed as her own. DNA also excluded defendant Clarissa and the defendant Peter as being the parents of the baby, of course. Over the next few weeks, defendant Clarissa created a GoFundMe page for the baby and continued her deception by representing herself as a mother of the victim's baby. Okay, guys, lost my spot a little bit. Then posted the GoFundMe page link to Facebook account, and also posted a photo of the baby victim 2 from the critical care unit. So on May 14th of 2019, the search warrant was executed upon the defendants. May 14th. You got to be kidding me. That's ridiculous. How could they not have gotten a search warrant sooner, according to what they testify they knew? Lies. Defendant Desiree Clarissa, Peter, and Desiree's boyfriend were all present at the time. And when the officers arrived, defendant Peter was cleaning the rug outside with bleach and a hose. Defendant Peter looked at the officers and dropped the bleach in the hose and walked away. Officers located the victim's decayed remains in the hidden garage can in the corner of the property, and the cable used to strangle the victim was still wrapped around her neck. This was evidence to show that the baby had been inside her womb. During the search of this house, the CPD evidence technician fluorescent light exam revealed blood being present in the living room area of the house. The medical examiner ruled that the victim had been strangled to death and that her abdomen had been cut. Defendant Desiree made a full video recorded confession. I would love to see that confession, because I feel like she would not have done this. She gave in to her mother and for some reason thought it was easier to kill somebody than to call the police on her own mother. That's terrible. This is probably one of the most devastating stories I've ever, lately, oh my God, they're just so evil, guys. It is evil that you heard about when you were a kid. You never really heard about it. Occasionally you heard of serial killers. But these people, they're worse than the serial killers we had growing up almost. This is something we're seeing at least every other week, once a month. Yes, we have more people in the world. But the evil, I've never said that word since I was a kid, but lately I've used the word evil, and I have to say that our people have become evil. Now, I promised you guys I would share what people think about this story, but firstly, I want to make sure you know that I am not against police officers, investigators usually at all. But a lot of these stories that I'm covering, many of them are saying that they're not getting the help, and this case absolutely has missing pieces where the police are saying that they did things, but yet, for example, their warrant didn't come until May 14th. That is freaking crazy. If you're a cop, you want to school me if I'm wrong here, please do, because I'd like to understand why in the world it took. According to them, they were suspicious. I know they had to wait for DNA evidence. I know these things. But they had enough there to already got a search warrant, I would think. Okay, I want to share some advice, some information on what happened to her baby. So this is what happened. We have these people, these evil people that have tied up a mother. They're strangling her, and it sounds like they're struggling. Usually it takes 4 to 5 minutes to do so. 3 minutes are actually the 5 minutes. The thing is while they're cutting off the oxygen to the mother, they're also cutting the oxygen off to the baby at the same time. And the tops that a baby can go without circulation of oxygen is 4 to 5 minutes. So while they were strangling her, they should have, if they wanted the baby to be alive, they would have to do it, have extracted the baby. Then it's cruel to say, but that's the facts. And this is why the baby is struggling, because it sounds like it took another 3 to 4, 5, 6 minutes before they could even get the baby out. So the baby most likely went without oxygen for at least 7 minutes. And what we have told is 10 minutes you have brain damage. So it might have been longer since the baby don't have brain activity. So when the baby was born, it was already gone. Not to mention they put the baby in a bucket for some unknown reason. Now, we heard that they were giving the baby CPR. We thought the family was, but I don't think that's the case. I think seems like that she just ran out with the baby yelling for help. Now, the mother has the balls enough to think that she's going to get away with this, that she goes to the hospital. They say that they examined her. That's weird because we didn't hear about that. And then also, she would have to know if they examined her that she wasn't going to get away with this. Then she made a GoFundMe. Anyways, the point is this woman was definitely mentally unstable. And the family was not able to realize how unstable she was. They loved her enough to follow her steps in such an evil plot instead of turn her in. This family was not smart enough to understand that she was having a mental breakdown from the loss of her son. Not only that, I believe we found a video of where they've had dealings with the police before because of gangs in the area. As you know, Chicago is not a good area. It's a place we need to be aware of, and as a community we have to fight the gangs and stuff in there. You can't just keep ignoring it. But here's a clip.
Mais quel genre de voiture?
C'était quel genre de voiture?
Je sais pas, elle était dorée.
Ils ont tiré de la fenêtre arrière.
Sur vous?
Oui, j'étais en train de promener mes chiens. J'ai juste sorti mes chiens. La voiture est arrivée de là et s'est juste arrêtée ici. Et elle a commencé à tirer par là. C'était le passager arrière qui tirait. Mais qui il visait?
C'est moi qui le visais. Moi et mes potes. Parce qu'ils ont vu ma coupe de cheveux. C'est une histoire de gang.
Vous faites partie d'un gang?
Ouais.
Lequel?
Les Latin Kings.
Là, il y a un impact de balle. On peut voir qu'ils ont touché la voiture.
Les auteurs des coups de feu sont déjà loin. Comme dans la majorité des cas, impossible pour Léo et Bob de...
Okay, I don't know much about this clip yet, but I wanted to share it with you guys. Somebody posted on the Red Shoe District groups. I told you guys that, those group pages are great if you want to keep up with a story like this. Most of the time respectful. You always have those few that are not. But I wanted to share what some people are thinking about this family. Okay, you can see here, some people, they're really caring about, which I do as well, trying to be more safe in the future. So they're using this as a way to say, let's come up with meeting spots where there's security cameras to make sure this doesn't happen. Even smarter than that, make sure you have groups with you when you go places like that. Tell somebody, where you're going and let them know that somebody knows where you're at. Then you have other people that are comparing this Clarissa, their way of dealing with it, to one of the SpongeBob creatures. Do they have similar to you guys? I don't know. Then you have gossip. The mother's lawyer asked to place whatever their last name is in protective custody for their own safety given the nature of the case. So obviously they're getting death threats. Now I had a lot more information to share with you guys, but I make these on my phone and I'm at my limit right now. So I'm pushing it hard. But pauses. This is what she put on the Facebook page. I mean on the GoFundMe. Shockingly, I can't believe it. Now, while I close out this video, I'm going to play a memorial, and this is for sending prayers, blessings, or good energy, whatever you support. I want to say thanks for watching, and I'm sorry I can't make a longer video than this.